say we go ahead and table those two if we don't have any representatives here.
Huh?
Say we table these two if we don't have a representative here, which we don't.
Yeah, I know. That's bad because we need to do something with that. I'm gonna find out.
There's Lucas. Lucas Oil Stadium.
Get a couple of chairs. Or is this a delaying tactic?
There you go. That's what it is. I can guarantee it. Here, Gary.
Well, well, let's see what we got. Oh, 6:30. I call the May 8th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. meeting to order the Westport Town Council. If you'll all rise, we will say a pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. Okay, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes of the April 10th meeting?
Yes.
Are there any additional corrections?
No.
I will entertain a motion and we approve the minutes.
I make the motion.
Second?
I wasn't here, but I make the motion. I didn't see anything that I would change, so.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, well, that's fair enough. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is the approval of payroll vouchers adjustment and monthly bills. Has everyone had a chance to look at that?
I have.
Make a motion?
Second?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Matt, you're up.
John, you
Thank you, Matt. All righty.
I was there last time, remember?
Oh, well. You can see by the, good evening, Matt Worth with Commonwealth Engineers, and here for a quick update on your wastewater project and some little bit of business on the water to finish it out. So we met on Thursday morning with the steering committee for the wastewater project, Alex, Damon, Harry, and Gloria, and myself, and Rachel from Commonwealth, and went over the progress to date on it, and everything is detailed there. But things are moving along really quite well, I think. Alex has been very helpful with us for the easements, and we're trying to provide him as much information as we can, and vice versa. So I think that's going along. Damon's always has good input on where things should and shouldn't go. So that helps us. So I think those meetings are very productive. They're monthly progress meetings, and I think it really keeps us all on the same page. So be glad to try and answer any questions at this point on the wastewater project.
How
Oh, I knew it'd
soon
be
will
you.
we need to have the trees and where are we getting it from? Do we have any idea? Because I have a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Department of
I
Natural.
think we could crowdfund trees.
Hmm.
I know that when I was working in the yard, I must have had 15 new trees come up from my maple trees. I don't know if maple's going to be on the list. Do you know?
I believe they are on the list. It's one of the options. So is
So
it a 1 to 5
I think
ratio?
I could do that, Damon, if
We won't know the exact number until after construction.
Yeah.
Are we able to procure those from like the Valonia State Nursery and that kind of stuff so that we can get them?
yes.
The
Okay.
contractor can procure them as well if you'd like him to. So, yeah. But like Rachel said, we won't know the exact number, but they want you, for every one you take out, they want it replaced with at least
I would think
three to
that
five.
people of town would enjoy being a part of that.
But there is the stipulation, I think it needs to be in the floodway where we're taking them out of. So there's only certain parts, Joyce, where they can go back in.
There's also, Takumi gave me the tree packet to look
Yeah.
at that has all the guidelines, and I haven't got all the way through it, but
there's a requirement that you have to have, for so many trees, you have to have an oak, you have to have a hickory.
Certain species.
Yeah, so there are also
Okay.
some guidelines.
So it might
that-
be a little difficult just to come out of the
Unfortunately,
yard and find them again.
it's not as easy as it sounds or it could be,
No, I know it
but it is.
If you get them in bulk from Bologna, though, it's fairly affordable depending on what we
Yeah.
can do.
Yep.
Comparatively, so.
But it will be part of the bid package for the contractor to purchase those too, so.
That may be, and we discussed this, I don't know how many people want to have an oak planted in there.
I know.
They're good, pretty good size.
I know, they do. They do.
50 years, but
Yeah,
that's been.
Anyway,
already.
that's,
Man, I got a quick question, and this is for, we kind of touched on it last meeting. On a regulatory update, it said recent revisions to the lead and copper rule require all communities with a public water system to develop a lead, lead service line inventory. All communities must have their LSL inventory completed by October the 16th, 2024. And is that something a third party would do? Is that something we got to do in-house?
there's answer is, Harry, it's both.
Both?
You can certainly do it in-house. There are, for systems your size, there's an organization called the Alliance of Indiana Water. They are willing to provide a lot of technical assistance to do this. And in fact, Mark or Jay have already reached out to them to have them help him. There's another organization that'll help do the database part called 120 Water. I think he's talked to them possibly as well. So I think Mark or Jay's on top of it so
Okay.
far. So, but yes,
Is this a one-time thing, one-time shot, or is it something you're going to have a running inventory every year, or?
they're going to want, IDEM's going to want an inventory every year of what they're trying to prevent. But long story short, is another Flint, Michigan, where there were lead water lines, and some folks had gotten sick due to the lead in the lines over the years. So the feds have mandated every state to take a hard look at their lead service lines and get them out of the ground.
Okay.
All the ways to the home and in the home, get them out of the ground. So
Well, that'd
this
be-
is the first step, is inventorying how many you've got.
Well, looking ahead on that, whose responsibility will it be inside the home? The homeowner?
I think that's going to be the town, isn't it?
Premise plumbing. So once it's inside your house, you're plumbing inside your house.
Inside, yeah. But all the way
I'm sorry, Rachel.
Just the home connection.
Just a home
up to the
connection.
home connection.
Okay.
So,
Which is generally, it is inside, but it's just inside.
And Harry, Jay has been working on that, and there's a state portal that we had to set up and log into. So the state is going to keep this information for however long, I don't know. And then we would just update it each time we get
Okay.
more information or we correct the
Yep.
problem. Say one of the lines is positive, we have to identify in that portal that it is positive, and then we have to, once we've corrected it, report that or what have you. And there's a lot of open-ended questions, but right now they're saying everything comes back to the utility. Say the lines even between the house to wherever they test it at the faucet are lead, and it shows up lead, but we know our lines aren't, we're still responsible for correcting that right now.
Inside the home.
Which I don't know how you're going to do that, because we have no rights to the homeowner's property at that
So
point.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm raising it right now, just
Yeah, I
thinking down the future.
Yeah.
How in the world are we gonna go into somebody's house?
There's got to be something else with that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be bankrupting
Yeah.
municipalities
I
and
don't think
replacing
that would-
home
Don't
pipes.
sound right, does it?
I think they're also, and Jay said right now, when we go and do our inventory, any property owner that does not let us in the house to test at the faucet will be automatically counted as lead positive, whether they are or not. That's the stipulation right now. So they've got to be able to change some of that as we go, because right now it's really unreasonable.
All right. Everyone hear that? Okay. That's possibility, so it's kind of a forewarning that that's what lies ahead of us.
anything else
Okay.
on the wastewater I can try
What's
to add? Anything else on the wastewater
No.
I can add? Switching over to the water project real quick. As you know, USDA is ready to close out the grant. And we have our final amendment here for the amount that USDA had left over in their grant. We obviously don't want to have to give any back to the government, so to speak. So our final amendment ended up being $48,464.27. So we reduced that down from what originally we thought was still left in, and Gloria and ourselves have chatted, and that's the final account number that USDA has on file. So like to have, if we could, if council so chooses, to have them bless that tonight, sign it, and we'll be done with the water project.
I have any comments?
Nope.
Do I have a motion on the floor?
Make motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. What, did I need to sign that?
You do, please, Harry, and if Gloria is able to test, we'll be all set. No.
Oh,
Compared to most.
down to Gloria. Oh, I'm sorry. All righty, thank you. If you two want to go ahead and leave, you're more than welcome to.
Is there anything else you want to say around?
I beg your pardon? No, I think you've answered our question and nothing I can think of. I know you guys got a drive going home. We didn't want to detain you. All right. Next up on our agenda was 508 North Rain Street update and 425 Washington Street update. And unfortunately, the parties that we need to talk to are not here this evening. Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, then that has to be tabled, correct?
I think, so we were to receive updates from the last meeting, if I remember reading the minutes. There was a report that was maybe going to be provided to the council.
Was it?
And I think that the council also wants for Johnson present to discuss what to do next. So the council can move forward with taking legal action if the council thinks that that's appropriate based on the information that's been provided thus far. The council could, though, choose to table table the discussion for the next month, to receive the reports and the updates regarding the property.
I think what we were looking at is putting time limits on this because at the last meeting, they were reluctant. Well, the one party was really reluctant from any time frame and just an open-ended project. And I looked up when we first started this, was out there on West Washington Street. We started it March 21st of 2022. They received a letter clean up on and an inspection on March 26th of 2022. It was inspected March 2022 and the public hearing was June the 13th. So we're coming up now within a year's time. And we froze the fine. We didn't take it off. We just froze it at that level. And there was many things that happened after that, which wasn't quite right. I talked to the one party and said that we were going to have a hearing this evening, and they're conveniently not here.
So June 13 would be the 1-year update meeting of
Right.
Washington Street, correct?
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on that.
Can we go ahead on that?
Well, no, I mean, we gave them until June 13th for that revisit. For
Uh,
the other one,
I don't think we actually gave them a year. We gave them 6 months. They came-
so June 13th would be the date that we were going to revisit it.
Yes.
Well, you said it as 6 months, and then you had them come back at the first of the year. So in February of this year, you also reviewed that property again at that
Is that
point.
when we pushed it to
And-
June?
And I don't think you set a June hearing for it. You just said that you would like to continue to be updated. And they said they were going to do the plumbing, but that came up and there was discussion over plumbing, but you didn't set any timelines. So after February of this year, there haven't been any timelines set, but the fact is it will be a year in June from the public hearing.
Okay.
you know.
Do they have water out there?
Not from our service, no.
No, that's,
Yeah, see, that's what's kind of discouraging about all this. And I get alarm bells going off the back of my head. It seemed like the town council's getting played on this. And because we didn't do that, and then to complicate it, the person that they had working on it decided that they were going to use across the street, which is on the county side of the property, to start a junkyard over there. So it's just been one thing after the other without the parties here. I didn't know how far we could go with this discussion, Alex, and I need to stop the discussion right now since they're not here to say anything about it, or can I just leave it where it's at?
Well, I think the council can, forward it for legal action, choose to do that. The council thinks that additional discussion, at a future meeting where the parties are present and presenting information would be helpful to the decision-making process. The council can table this until the next meeting. But I think those at this point in time are the two options. It sounds like Lori has laid out sort of what has happened procedurally in the case. And I don't want to conflate the two because I think
They're two separate issues.
there are two separate issues, two separate properties,
Yes,
and maybe even two different timelines as well.
right.
Whatever is decided, we'll want to have two separate votes, whether to take one on or to take legal action on, we can take them individually.
I think, John.
Well, from what I understand, the open-ended request was made for the Range Street, correct? And
Yes.
that there was only a partial portion of the report given, correct?
correct.
Yep.
The Range
So-
Street was that they were to come to this meeting and submit the full report and
They
to,
didn't want.
and to address the timeline because they requested that they not have a
That's all we got.
timeline.
Yeah. Oh, you got one? Yeah, that's right.
They asked for no timeline. And
The original letter on that one, though, has been like since 2020 or something, hasn't it?
Yeah, 22.
On Range Street?
No, not on Washington Street. I'm sorry.
Range Street was before that.
Range Street was just recent.
Was it?
I think we started this one in January of this year.
but we had complaints.
No, because Phil's been
for
working on
years.
that for a while to clean up.
We've done
everything
cleanup
outside.
letters, but not an inspection. There was a delay because we couldn't get an inspection. They were refusing access.
They refused inspection the
please come
first
up here.
time, and then we had to go ask the court, to make them let us do it, and it was granted. Then we did it. And, in my opinion, it failed inspection, and I feel like with them not providing their full inspection from who they hired, I feel like they're hiding stuff. I would ask that the town go ahead and proceed with litigation on that property. I think we're being lied to and misled. It's
Both
not
of
being
them.
done correctly.
All the same people that's running. both.
Exactly, and
Yes.
I think they've proven on the Washington Street, even if there hasn't been an actual timeline set, that they've worked on that place for a year and a half now. It's still not done.
I haven't really seen any movement on Washington Street.
No,
And
there's
I really
it's quit.
feel like the
No,
people
quit.
that's doing that.
yeah, it's
work
pretty
is
much quit.
draining.
Very little is going on up there. They have been up there working.
That's what it sounds like.
Washington Street?
Yeah, so I've seen them in there working a little bit. But just what I've seen done on the outside is not being done correctly. And that's what bothers me about it is you can hide anything. And they know parts of that house you cannot access, especially once they cover it. And obviously in the photos I provided to the town.
Aren't they required to have building permits and inspections through the county?
Yes, especially in order to fix that house correctly, you would have to.
I'm
it
not
needs-
seeing any
We've not
permit being
gotten
disputed.
No, it's got major, it's got catastrophic, structural damage, both from water and termites. And it's just being covered up. So in my opinion, I would ask the town, proceed with litigation on that. I feel like they've had, enough time. They're not cooperating. They're just trying to buy more time. And I feel like last month's meeting, when they kind of shunned you on your report, that kind of proved where they're at with it. So that's what I had to say with it, or for it.
Thank you, Damon.
I make a motion to continue litigation with both of them.
Have a
I
second?
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, one thing I want to make a note on this. When we first got on the town council, we saw where the town was at that particular moment in time. So we decided, well, what's it going to take to start growing? Okay, we need to get rid of the houses. Okay, if this house has been sitting vacant for 15 years,
That's
nothing's
blight.
being done about it. It's time to make a decision, either move on, get it fixed, or tear it down. We only have so much land space in Westport, and you got to think, when we build a population in Westport higher, it benefits the school systems. It benefits the businesses within our town. It also, for the high water bills and sewer bills, it helps disperse more is paying into this pool. The chemicals we use at the water plant is not getting cheaper. That keeps going up. Labor keeps going up. Those costs. So the only way was that our thinking was, as a town council, was to grow out of it. Okay, what do you need to do to grow out of it? You need a clean environment, people mowing their yards, keeping that. So I've been a stickler with, hey, gets a certain high. If trash and stuff sitting outside, no, let's clean it up. Letters we send out, oh gee, it's getting better because some people are kind of getting better at mowing. Kind of a reminder, hey, you can't mow your yard, work with us. Okay, have you been ill? Is there something wrong with you? You've been, like I said, in the hospital, you physically can't do it. And then we'll try to get somebody help or make contact so that you are able to clean that up. The town council will work with people like that. But where we have a problem with is that we send out letters and they just ignore it. Okay, this happened to this one time. That's how the fine got so high. We just got ignored. Didn't get talked to, didn't until the fine gets so high. Then they find, whoa. Then they come screaming in there, hey, we got to do something. Okay, well, we judge each on a case-by-case issue depending upon what has happened to the people involved. And if it's just sheer, I don't want to do it, or if it's just sheer, I don't care about it, well, then we got a problem with that. And that's what this basis was set up with. So we still have homes that we need, and the house up there on North Rain Street, that's one of them, but there's other ones too that we're working on, and I'm going to try to tackle 2 more this year. But you got to think too, it takes time because we end up in court over these issues. And then that takes time, and then they want to postpone it. Okay, if we got to go June, no, they want to postpone it until August. And so we're tied up in this litigation. That's where Alex has been coming in, and Damon have been helping us out on this. And we've moved forward on that. And our town is growing. And matter of fact, is kind of a, you may not look at it this way, but I thought it was kind of neat that somebody from Southern Indiana called up way down toward the Evansville area, wanted to know how we were doing our cleanup. And that kind of amazed me. Here we are, just a little bitty town. Well, how did somebody down there and way down in Southern Indiana hear about the town of Westport and our cleanup efforts? So to me, that kind of showed that we're moving in the right direction, regardless of what some other people think about it. And at school, hopefully they were and projected to lose and go down. Well, if you notice Westport, we're getting more younger people in here. We're getting people with children in here, and we have a golden opportunity to grow. Nipro is going to add on in the back, and we got a possibility of putting in another subdivision and all that. We're working on the sewer project and all that. So and I want to say this to the town too, think about it. When all around us, what is it? Nothing but negative. The banks are failing. This is going bad. This is going bad. The town of Westport, we're trying to grow. We're trying to improve. So we're fighting the odds of what everybody around is saying, that how bad times are and housing prices are going down, jobs going down, nothing but the negative. We've tried to, the town council and has tried to maintain a positive face on that and say, no, we can do it, all working together. Keep your yards clean, keep people attracting. Had somebody moved in from Shelbyville. So why in the world did you move all the way down here from Shelbyville? And they said, I like it down here. Now, sometimes we as locals that live here don't look at it that way, but people that come from our outside look at it. And believe me, anybody that lives on Main Street, that is, somebody comes in from town and they don't keep the yards clean, stuff like this, guess who will hear about it? I'll hear about it. Because that's the main traveled street down through town. That's what everybody sees. So I will get comments on it. And I'm proud of Westport, and I want Westport to be like that. I think it'd be, we're going to be working on the business association working on the downtown area.
Harry, I think we can let probably
Okay.
Rebecca speak to some more of that. It looks like
Yeah, I'm
she
sorry.
wants to go on with that.
But anyway, I'll stop right there. Thank you. But I'm just, well, yeah, I need to stop. I'm just so positive that we can do as far as Westport. So yeah, I just need my faucet turned off, but I'm just trying to impart to everybody that, no, we've come a long way. Okay, anyway, Rebecca Creech, are you here? Yes, please.
If
come
you
up to
wouldn't
the-
mind, come up here.
You have to come up to the mic.
I like the rules that you have set.
Right.
I've been here 40-some years. If you're going to do the rules, do them with everybody.
We do.
No, you don't.
How's that?
There is a house right on the corner of Schott, that old junky trailer, that the grass is up to here when you're turning onto Schott Street.
Right.
It's been like that for I don't know how long.
There is in process with that. There are some other complications regarding that property because of the way that it's in a protected status. Okay, but yes, there is things that are going on with that.
Well, and I don't appreciate my daughter being fined for anything. She rents off of Mary McCullough.
Well, stop a second. Where's the fine letter for that house?
I don't know. Mary said that you sent it to her.
No, we
Okay,
haven't
well,
sent anything out this year.
that's what she told my daughter.
Well,
There are no fines on that property.
Okay, well, you know what property I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, Brandy is disabled. She is a widow.
but let's back up on this conversation. And I heard this before, that you said that I'm picking on you, but if there was no fine letter sent and there was no mention made of your property, then how are we doing that?
Well, you're doing it through Mary, or Mary's lying to Brandy. Somebody's lying.
Well, I'll agree with you on there.
You know, Brandy has been there 14 years.
But ask Mary for the copy of the letter.
We did.
Because we
What
haven't,
she said.
She
haven't
said
found
that she
one.
didn't have it, and if
There
she
you go.
did, she wouldn't give it to her.
No,
Brandy's been there going on 15 years.
right, but there's been no letter sent.
Well, I just don't, her dad is disabled. He can't go over there and mow the yard. She's disabled. She's got 2 small boys.
Well,
I'm not making
how old
excuses.
are them boys?
Well, the one is 9 and one is 13.
I saw the 13 out trying to mow the yard.
Yes,
Did-
he,
And does Jason not mow it?
now that Mary give him a,
Mow it?
yeah,
it has to be
but-
something where she's anticipating something and trying to avoid it because, again, it hasn't been sent to her.
No.
okay,
I
because.
wish she would just come out and say that as the landowner, she wants it done as opposed to using us to try and leverage something.
Wait, yeah, Brandy's always tried to keep the yard nice. But I mean, you got that creek across the street, and when it comes up, she's got nothing but snakes in that whole backyard. When Jason was mowing, he mowed over them,
Right.
because when the creek goes up. But I just don't want her picked on.
Well, I don't blame you too, but like I said, I wish somebody would come and talk to me about it instead, and I would have answered them directly. No, and like John said, we haven't sent any letters. There's been no mention of that property made. Is we gotten on Mary before? Yeah, because
But that's,
that's Mary.
yeah, that's Mary's business. I don't
That's-
care.
That's right.
My daughter pays her rent and she tries to keep that yard looking nice.
But if you like, well, okay, if we did send a mowing letter, then the best way would be to come back to us and say, hey, we got this going on, that's going on. Do you know somebody that mows? And when there's kids around here that do mow, that
I know that.
want to mow,
Yes.
and that's fine.
You know, I can pay for that if she needs a mower,
Okay.
but you know, she can't. That's my whole thing is if you're going to pick on one, pick on everybody.
Sounds like it's misunderstanding.
Well, let's hope.
Well,
Because
if
I
my,
mean, it's not, let's hope.
If
I
we-
mean,
If we
there's no
send
letter
that
there.
property a letter, it would go to the renter and to the property owner. There would be a copy for each of them.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact there's not because we track it because I paid for the certifications for it to be mailed out. So it's certified. We would get a sign off that yes, she did receive it. There's not been any, it's not even on the list, but Mary did get fined on other properties. So I suspect she's throwing her name under the bus to
Right.
scare her,
Well-
you know, maybe she didn't like what it looked like when she went out there or something. But as far as on our side, we have not targeted that property at all.
okay, well, because I know another property she's got, and I don't care. It's my sister that lives there. That looks like a dump.
And the
That's the
one-
reason I'm saying it, you know,
Which property is that?
down by the water tower,
Okay.
across from
Mary
the
Lou's old house. Hospital, the doctor's.
doctor's office, yeah, catty corner
Okay,
there.
okay.
I mean, Rita's got the grass
After
all
after the meeting, I'll talk to you,
Okay.
Because we need to move along. Okay, next up is Jeff Moore from the Westport Wesleyan Church. Jeff, please come on
Hello, how are you?
up. So far, so good.
Good. I've been here for 2 weeks. I'm the new pastor at Westport Wesleyan. And sometimes I would come in a suit, but I was mowing grass. So I didn't want to get on your bad list for not mowing my grass. So I was out.
I ride
We
around,
appreciate it.
I ride around and I'll tell them it's minority niceness.
So I actually grew up here in Westport and went away and pastored for 25 years in other places. But now I'm back home. And Glenn Black back there was my pastor growing up. And now I'm his pastor. So that's sort of the way life works and goes around. So what we're trying to do is we recognize that Westport Wesleyan has sort of been quiet for the last 30 years. And we're going to try to reintroduce ourselves to the community this summer and going forward. And one of the ways we want to do that is we want to offer this summer what I've simply entitled Bounce House in the Park. I did this in another place where we pastored and it went really, really well. So the church has bought a commercial bounce house and we would like to bring that to the park this summer. And there at the park, we would just simply interact with whoever's there. And we're still trying to figure out the right date for that, the right day. It'll be 1 day a week, probably somewhere between 5:30 and 7. And we'll be handing out probably something to drink and some type of little snack. And anyone's welcome to come. So when I called Gloria and said, hey, this is what's on our mind, she said, show up to this meeting. So that's why I'm here. Right? And if there's any questions, I'll be glad to.
Jeff, the one to contact is sitting right there, Connie Davis.
Okay. Yeah.
And that way you would contact her and,
Okay.
that way there's other people that want to use it too. And one last question, do you have liability insurance?
Yeah, so it would actually have to be a waiver on our church's policy.
Okay.
We've already contacted our insurance agent to make that happen.
That was my question too.
That was your question?
Who is going to be
Yeah,
responsible if
Somebody
someone
gets
gets
hurt.
hurt?
Whoa,
Yep.
all right.
Get it?
Other than
I
that,
think
as
it
long as
sounds
there's
like a
no
wonderful
conflict,
idea.
we've never-
So we still need to do some work. Maybe Connie probably knows, but I don't want to try to overlap. Even if another church is doing something here in town for kids that night, I don't want to overlap that. So there's probably, I need to know that. And around a while, she probably will know. I didn't say that. So, any more questions for me?
No,
So
thank you.
just contact Connie.
Yeah, contact Connie. We always appreciate you coming before the board and our council, town council, and letting
Come
us know
anytime.
what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is CCMG Resolution 2023-6.
Have to read.
So Harry, this is a requirement. We did win the Community Crossings matching grant for this year. We got our max. And this is just red tape, paperwork that they need. So Harry, you probably have to read that, but.
Okay, Resolution 2023-6, resolution of the Westport Town Council of the Town of Westport, Indiana concerning authorization for execution of NDOT agreements. Of course, NDOT's for the roads. Whereas Indiana Code Chapter 36-1-3 permits any unit in the state of Indiana to exercise any power or to perform any function necessary to the public interest in the context of its government or internal affairs, which is not prohibited by the Constitution of the United States or of the state of Indiana, or denied or preempted by any law, or is not expressly granted by any law to another governmental entity. Whereas the Westport Town Council of the Town of Westport, Indiana is a legislative and executive body and is by law authorized to adopt ordinances and resolutions for the administration of the Town of Westport legal and financial affairs. Whereas the Indiana Department of Transportation has requested specific written authority for the execution of NDOT agreements when all the members of the executive body do not sign. Now therefore be it resolved by the Westport Town Council of the Town of Westport, Indiana as follows. Authorization. The president of the Westport Town Council is hereby authorized, confirmed to have the authority to execute any NDOT agreements and all other documents related thereto, and all documents related to any NDOT grant programs for and on behalf of, and to bind the Town of Westport, Indiana. Ratification. The Westport Town Council of the Town of Westport, Indiana hereby ratifies all prior agreements and associated documents executed by the president of the Town of Westport, Indiana, prior to the effective date of this resolution. Effective date. The resolution is effective immediately upon its date of adoption. Do I have a motion on the floor?
I make a motion, we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Now you can do it.
Okay, next on that we had on our agenda was zoning requests with the Roy Saylor, and since he's not here, I will make a motion, or do I have a motion we table that?
It's gonna have to be tabled because when he come to the zoning board, he didn't have all his ducks in a row yet.
Okay,
Make a motion table.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda, alley closure petition 107 West Sycamore dash ordinance 2023-3.
Is this second reading on that?
Second reading, yeah. Whereas a petition has been filed with the Town of Westport to vacate a certain public way/alley. Whereas notice has been given to all owners of land which about the property proposed to be vacated and published prior to the hearing on the petition is required by law. Whereas the Westport Town Council has determined that the vacation of this public way alley will not hinder the development of the area, nor hinder the public's access to church, school, or other public buildings. Now therefore be it ordained by the Westport Town Council of Westport, Indiana, that the following public way/alley shall be vacated. And then right here, it gives a bunch of parcel numbers, but it's starting at West Sycamore Street, ending at the alley north of West Ray Street that runs east to west of South Williamson Street. Land shall become the property of and shall be assessed for tax purposes to those owners of land adjoining the vacated property way/alley. These vacations are subject to the right of right of any public utility which is now using this property for the location and operation of its facilities to continue to do so. The ordinance shall be in full effect from and after its passage. Do I have a,
Make a motion.
I got a second? All in favor? Aye. So that's 3-0.
Harry, since that's an ordinance, you can open that public comment.
Oh, shoot, I gotta open it back up to public comment. I'm sorry, I got the court. See, I was trying to hurry along. That's what happens when I hurry. I'll open it up to public comment. Is anybody against this ordinance of vacating that alley? There being none, I will close public comment. Okay, thank you, Alex. You need to keep me straight. See, one's trying to keep me short, and you're trying to keep me straight, so we'll work it out. Okay. Do I have to go back again and ask for a motion? Okay, good. All right. Okay, next is Nipro annexation, ordinance 2023-4 and resolution 2023-4.
And Alex, I have the resolution and the ordinance. Which one comes first?
There goes yours. Oh, you already signed it.
It's the resolution.
Well, oh, that's that one.
Uh,
Yes, I guess.
After you pass on one reading, ordinance, the annexation will require two readings.
2 readings.
Okay.
We'll have public comments on the ordinance, and all we'll be able to do this evening is approve it on first reading, and we'll come back next month for a second.
Okay, so it's 2 readings on the ordinance. The petition is 1 reading, correct?
John, do you want to read one?
Okay, which one have we got? Resolution.
Little parts there, Harry.
You want to read it?
Yeah.
I'll give my voice rest. I'll let John read it.
Resolution adopting a written fiscal plan as a definite policy of the town council of the town of Westport, Indiana, with respect to the provision of municipal services to areas that are proposed to be annexed into its corporate boundaries. Whereas on or about the 22nd date of March 2023, Nipro Pharma Packaging Americas Corp. Voluntarily filed a petition before this town council requesting the annexation of approximately a 3,000-acre tract of real estate, which is presently located in the unincorporated territory.
Whoa, is that right?
3
3,000?
Or
acres.
three acres. I thought that was rather large.
Oh, I thought, man, we're in business.
That'd be a
That's a period, not a comma.
Okay.
3-acre tract of real estate, which is presently located at the unincorporated territory of Decatur County, Indiana, into the corporate boundaries of the town of Westport, Indiana, pursuant to the provisions of IC 36-435.1, and whereas pursuant to the provisions of IC 36-435.1E, the notice of public hearing scheduled before this town council has been established in accordance with Indiana law at least 20 days before the holding of such hearing, and evidence in the form of proof of publication of such notice was entered into the record at such public hearing, and whereas this town council had held such public hearing as scheduled on the 8th day of May, 2023, at which the petitioner and all other persons interested in the proposed annexation were afforded the opportunity to speak and address their objections or concerns, and whereas IC 36-4331D requires the town council to adopt a written fiscal plan establishing a definite policy of the town for the provisions of municipal services to the proposed annexed area before this town council may adopt an ordinance affecting the requested annexation. And whereas this town council now deems it to be in the town's best interest to adopt a written fiscal plan establishing a definite policy for the provision of municipal services to the proposed annexed area as set forth in the resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this town council of the town of Westport, Indiana, as follows. 1, the fiscal plan attached hereto as Exhibit 1 is hereby adopted as a definite policy of the town of Westport, Indiana, with respect to provisions of municipal services to the tracts of real estate for which annexation is requested, which tract of real estate is more particularly described as follows, to wit. Part of northwest corner of the northwest quarter of Section 31, Township 9 North, Range 9 east of the second principal meet meridian located in Sand Creek Township, Decatur County, Indiana, described as follows. Commencing at a found iron pin at the northwest corner of said quarter, hence north 88 degrees, 28 minutes, 13 seconds east along the north line of said quarter, a distance of 468.74 feet to the point of beginning. Thence north 88 degrees, 28 minutes, 13 seconds east along the north line of said quarter, a distance of 279.38 feet to set iron pin. Thence south 00 degrees, 33 minutes, 45 seconds, west a distance of 468.38 feet to set an iron pin in the north line of a 0.7295 acres tract. Thence south 88 degrees, 35 minutes, 55 seconds, west along said north line of distance of 279.35 feet to a found iron pin, thence north 00 degrees, 33 minutes, 45 seconds, east passing through a found iron pin at 467 feet, a total distance of 467.76 feet to the point of beginning. This tract contains 3 acres, more or less. 2, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage and adoption by this town council. Exhibit 1, fiscal plan for the provisioning of municipal services to the 3-acre tract of land for which annexation into town of Westport, Indiana has been requested. The petitioner, Nipro Pharma Packaging Americas Corp., has filed a petition requesting annexation of 3-acre tract of real property that is presently located in the unincorporated territory of Decatur County, Indiana, into the town of Westport, Indiana, collectively the property. This fiscal plan is established in accordance with requirements of IC 36433.1 as a definite policy of the town council of the town of Westport for provision of services to the property. The following shall be the policy of the town of Westport regarding the provision of non-capital services to the property. 1, non-capital services. The town presently provides services of a non-capital nature within its current corporate boundaries, including without limitation, police protection, and street and road maintenance. Such services will be provided to the property within 1 year after the effective date of annexation in a manner equivalent in standard and scope that such non-capital services are provided to areas within the town's current corporate boundaries, regardless of similar topography, patterns of land use, and population density. Due to the relatively small size of the property, it is not estimated that any additional town's personnel will need to be hired to provide such services. As such, it is estimated that the planned services will not result in any material increase in the town's cost of providing such municipal services generally. The services that are to be provided to the property will be paid for from the new ad valorem tax revenues to be received by the town from such property. 2, capital services. The town presently provides services of capital improvement nature within its corporate boundaries, including without limitation, street construction and street lighting. Such services will be provided to the property within 3 years after the effective date of annexation in a manner equivalent in standard and scope that such non-capital services are provided to areas within the town's current corporate boundaries, regardless of similar topography, patterns of land use, and population density, in a manner consistent with federal, state, and local laws, procedures, and planning criteria. In conjunction with the relatively small size of the property, it is not estimated that any additional town personnel will need to be hired or capital expenditures made in order to provide such services to the property. It is estimated that the planned services will not result in any material increase to the town's cost of providing such municipal services generally. The services that are to be provided to the property will be paid for from the new ad valorem tax revenues and to be received by the town from such property.
Okay, now that's the ordinance, right?
That's resolution.
That's a resolution.
Which we can pass.
We can pass that.
Yep.
Okay. I make a motion that we
Does this have to have any public discussion?
Not necessarily, but the council could. The resolution of
Want me to? Oh, yeah, okay.
You can ask.
Yeah, I'll open up. Anybody have any questions? Public comment. I'll open it up to public comment. There being none, I will close public comment. And is there a motion on the floor?
Make a motion.
I have a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Johnny, you want to read another one?
This is.
Sure, why not?
I'll read this.
Or you want to read it? Okay, go
You've
ahead.
got that one?
Yeah, she's going to read it. Oh, let's spread that around.
What he said about all of the measurements was the same thing that I have on here, so I'm not going to read that again. Partial ID number 161431 22 0 5.030-013. Alternate ID 009-03047-03. This ordinance will take effect 30 days after its passage and adoption by this town council, and upon the filing and recording of the ordinance is required by Indiana law in the absence of an appeal under IC 364-3-15.5. The town clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of the adoption of the ordinance in the Greensburg Daily News one time within 30 days after the adoption of this ordinance, with the provisions of IC 5-3-1-2. In the absence of an appeal against the ordinance filed pursuant of IC 36-4-3-15.5, the town clerk is hereby directed to do the following within 90 days after the adoption of this ordinance. File a certified copy of this ordinance with each of the following: the Decatur County Auditor, together with 7 additional copies that the auditor may use to forward in accordance with the provision to the Decatur County Highway Department, the Decatur County Surveyor, the Decatur County Plan Commission, the Decatur County Sheriff, the Township Trustee, the Office of the Indiana Secretary of State, the Office of Census Data established by IC 2-5-1.1-12.2. Number 2, with the clerk of the Decatur Circuit Court. Number 3, the Decatur County Board of Voter Registration. Number 4, the Office of the Indiana Secretary of State. Number 5, the Office of Census Data established by this. Record a certified copy of this ordinance in the office of the Decatur County Recorder. And that's it with the ordinance.
And that satisfies our first reading. Okay.
We need to open to public comments and then vote to pass on first reading.
Well, we can't pass it on first reading?
You can't pass the ordinance on first reading, but you can pass it on first reading. If you have a second.
At this one.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, make it
I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment? There being none, I'll close that off, and there's a motion on the floor.
Make a motion to pass this first read.
I make the motion, we do too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next,
That's the one
We
I
can't
just read.
yeah, we can't sign that yet, though.
That's it.
Huh?
That's it for now.
This one will be read the second time.
We'll sign the resolution tonight and read the second reading.
We sign it second reading. All right. Okay, next on there, Barb, your group, Westport Community Building Board of Directors.
Connie.
Alex,
They're all
do you
here
have the
but one.
paperwork for that one?
Please tell me
Haven't
you
made
do.
him president yet.
No? Okay, should we table that for the next month then?
We can, or we could, it's a resolution.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I don't know if I pull that up on my phone. But I know you can send it to me. I don't know if we have the names of the individuals that we could go ahead
Just say it.
and approve approve that, and then next month we can put it on the agenda and sign it. That way that you can go ahead and be appointed by the council, and then we'll have a resolution essentially
You
providing
know
our
who it's gonna be, you can just,
showing
you do
that.
it.
Okay.
And a couple of things to think about, the draft that I put together, we only have 3 members that will have a 2-year term,
Right,
and then 2 members that will have a 1-year term.
right.
And after the end of their first term, if they're going to stay on, or whoever's going to be appointed in their stead will have a 4-year term.
Right.
The only reason that you're doing that is so that you eventually have staggered.
Right. Do you understand that?
Somebody couldn't,
He can,
everybody
if
at
you didn't
once.
hear it, Barb, he can repeat it again. You can get back on it again, but we're trying to get where it's going to be where it's going, where it's going to be
That's also in
staggered.
the previous ordinance that we had
yeah,
already
I
passed,
think
so.
that you guys, when you get that and see it, it'll be clear.
But I'd like the board to get going as soon as possible. Next month be June, half the year's gone.
Yes, we got
So
those
if
coming up.
the council wants to go ahead and pass the resolution appointing each of the 5 members, we're able to name them on the record, and whether they're going to be a 2-year term or a 1-year term, then we can go ahead and pass that this evening.
All right.
No, you need to say that out.
So 2 of them would be 2-year term?
3.
3 of them? Okay. The members, and I would probably just recommend, knowing that some of them may have to change their situations depending on if they're running for council and stuff. So the 3 that I would recommend for the 2 would be Connie Davis, Barb Winchester, and Melissa Debbie. And then for the 1-year term, I'd recommend Karen Webster and Jennifer Ribb.
Karen Webster and who?
Jennifer Ribb.
You know,
But you
lives down
guys
the
can
street.
shuffle. I'm just thinking like Karen, if she were to get counsel, she would have to resign next year anyway. So it makes sense to just
Yeah,
be
that
on it a
would make
year.
sense. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint him.
Yeah.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, because we need to get this going as quickly as possible.
So, anytime you all decide you need to, you know who everybody is now, don't you? Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is Home Rule Fund for Community Building Deposits.
Did you bring that too?
I did not bring that.
Okay. So I can just explain and we can put it on the next one.
Okay.
All right.
When we accepted the community building rental fees and all of that, there's a deposit. And because the deposit is something that's refundable to the consumer, then we have to create a new fund in our budget for that. And I don't understand the tape, but I know Alex has done the research on that. So next meeting, we will just submit will it be a resolution or ordinance?
It'll be an ordinance, but
Okay.
because there's no appropriation or obligation of funds, it's just creating a fund, it can be passed on first reading.
Okay.
So we'll just submit that
Well, you
next
got it
month.
next month, John. Okay, last on our agenda, Damon.
I'll try to make it quick. I'm gonna let Harry start in stories.
All right.
First thing I got is, I'm asking the town if we can purchase a smooth blade bucket for our excavator. Well, we do have 3 buckets currently, 3 different sizes, but they're all teeth. And we got several areas in town, we need to try to get rid of some water. And you can do it with a tooth bucket, but you got twice the work, 'cause then you gotta go back through and fix all the teeth marks, especially in people's yards. It's nice if we can just dig it out, haul the dirt off and reseed it and be done. The cost of that is roughly $1832.91. They did accidentally add tax on here, so it will be $119.91 cheaper. Take about 2 weeks to get it once approved. I don't know if you guys, it's from Bobcat here in Greensburg. That's who we deal with our excavator.
It's over 1,000, so we have to ask permission.
No, I know.
I make a motion, if you all seen that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, next on that, your agenda?
Next thing on my agenda, or let's just go what's written down here, is the new locks for the community building. I did get an estimate for those. I did not get 3 estimates because we have found out the places we have called to get estimates on locks are just astronomical. The guy I got an estimate from, he currently services all the locks here in this building. And every time we have gotten estimates, he has been very comparable to the guy that we used to use, that unfortunately passed away. So I would recommend him. Gloria does have that. I forgot to bring a copy of that, Gloria.
It's right here, yeah.
And that is subject to change, just a little bit, because there's some doors in here, like, technically that has to have a push bar, because it leads to the outside, so it can't have a keyed lock. That door is in the works of us wanting to replace it. So he would do that one. I don't know if he included that price in there, but there may be just a little bit of change to, I guess what I'm trying to say, and the types of locks that are here. So I know the building has a couple places in it where it has a deadbolt on it. And and the fire marshal says that those rooms cannot have deadbolts on them because you have to have 2 ways out of a room.
Yeah.
So those spots we're going to fix without the deadbolts and a different style lock or something. But I just want to get a ballpark figure of what it would cost to get those done. And I do believe this money would come out of the appropriations that was already made for the community building.
The second page has some outbuildings that will not be included. So the price that's on there may be less than what, because the outbuildings are on that.
They are on that, and even after I'd explained that to you, I was told, yes, we're going to go ahead and replace them and give them a keys. So it may be cheaper. I think we're still trying to work things out with how things exactly going to work. So it may end up being a little cheaper than that.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Well, I think we should let somebody know how much we're spending on this. Grand total for the project is $6,034. And I know that sounds high, but it's not.
Well, especially when we're replacing doors.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
you're right, that should have been pushed.
Like you say, you have to have a door in and a door out of every room. You can't just put them in there and put
Right.
them. People couldn't get out of the fire starting.
All right, I got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye.
Next thing I got is just to touch base with you on Mr. Toller's place. I know he's been back and forth for several months arguing with us. So I took some pictures and went over and did some research. Copies, so I'll just kind of explain here. When we demoed the home was up here and the other shed was here. And we did hit the sewer line here. We put in a new clean out and replaced where we hit. None of this was ever exposed. Danny actually exposed this over the weekend and last week and called me today and had us go down and explain to him exactly what we've done. And he still seems to think none of this here was touched. But he still thinks the line from his house went towards the road and teed into where we fixed. Obviously, it's not. There's no point. I mean, he dug this up himself. So I respectfully, I think he just forgot what he done 30 years ago. Because that's fine. There's no connections. There's no connections go from here to the direction he says. I have cambered this line from here to the main,
Right.
and there's no other connection. So
Does that T?
yes, that is a T. And I asked Danny today. This line continues north, and he didn't seem to know where it went, and he didn't know where this line here went. So I do think, there's going to have to be something done here when them 2 lines are cut in half, especially if nobody knows where they go. Because they're not the towns, they've not been lined. We didn't install these, we only went to the clean out. That's what we do with everybody, we only go to the clean out. So there's some issues there, it's going to have to be resolved, but I don't know what else the town can do. I mean, we've done what we can do at this point.
So the main that it should go to would go south
Yes, from this, I know it's.
from here, from the T.
Yes, from this clean out, it goes south to Sycamore Street
To the main.
to the main. So, we're responsible from here to there. I'm not sure where this line at that he thought came through here.
There isn't one.
But there's no physical evidence of a line ever being there, you know, or already where it is. So I really don't think it went that way. But I don't know how else to explain it, but I don't believe it was there.
All
It
right.
is hard to remember what you did 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. I mean, I forget what I done yesterday if I don't write it down. So I can only imagine, you know.
I have a better memory for that than I do now. No.
So that was just an update on that.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for that, Dave.
Okay, that closes
Still got
out.
one more, don't we?
What's that? Yeah, or I got a couple more, yeah.
Yeah. you still
Oh,
got-
no, I'm sorry, Damon, I cut you off.
No, you're
Apprentice
fine.
Newhart.
On top of, this kind of goes with Gloria's while ago, the CCMG resolution. This is the FPBH engineering proposal, as we talked about before. Any project for the community crossing grants over 250,000, you have to have an engineer do it for you. So, I do apologize, he couldn't be here tonight. He was coming in this late hours today. The first page basically is just coordination, design, construction, administration, inspection. Basically just telling everything they're going to do for us. Second page, just a letter from FPBH. Page 3 starts the actual assessments, design engineer, basically the scope of work and what steps it will take. And that continues on to page 4. And page 5 is just a timeline of everything, which is more explained on page 6. Basically, today's May 8th. It starts May 8th, clear through October, which I believe would actually be November. Or I'm sorry, he's got October 2024. So, okay, we're fine there. But that's basically the schedule of how things will go for this paving project.
Are we going to have sidewalks any at all on this one?
We originally proposed sidewalks for Poplar Street. We are hoping, he did say that he believes the asphalt prices are coming in less than expected this year. He thinks we'll have enough to put the sidewalks down Poplar, but it's not a promise yet because, you know,
Right.
Is that
things are.
between
long
Main and
as we
Bennett?
get-
Is that what we're looking
As
at?
long
or-
as we get.
They'll go from Main
started.
Street to Shot Street, actually. They'll go in front of, basically, where Colton detailing shop, they'll go down there, clear down to, the fire department, and obviously we'll skip the fire department parking lot, and then it'll pick back up, and I believe it included the grass lot from behind the fire department to Shot. I could be wrong there, but I thought it did when we
It
measured
will
it.
be going down Shot, won't it?
Not in this one. Well,
Okay.
Shot Street will be repaved, but there won't be no sidewalk. The only place that,
Okay.
if the money allows, will be sidewalks will be on Poplar Street. But it is a start, and we know our
Yeah, it'd be
sidewalks
nice
need
to have it to
redone
the
and
fire
sidewalks need
station.
added. And the prices stay low enough. Nothing here has to be signed, just based on your approval. They're,
I think there's a place for Harry, isn't there?
well, I mean, anybody can sign it. Being the superintendent over the project, I can sign it if you guys don't, it don't matter.
That's fine, no problem.
It's just basically accept, is their total cost will be $21,100 for the engineer fees for everything. And that cannot be paid out of the grant, but yet the state requires an engineer to be over it. So it's kind of a bad deal for us, but, so you guys can decide what you want to do there. They have got us this far into it and
Well, where would money come out of then?
Well, this is the first time I've seen this, so I don't know yet. Typically local road and street, but I don't, without going back to the computer and looking at our budget, I can't see how much is there, so I couldn't say affirmative where it would come out of tonight. I'm sorry. But if I'd seen it earlier in the day, I probably could have taken a look at that.
You just did give your.
I just got these at the end of the day. I actually called him and said, hey, where's this at? Are you showing up with them or, yeah, I got them at the end of the day and I apologize,
He's
Gloria.
got-
'Cause I'm-
Okay.
Well, the first timeline at the 8th, just today.
That's right. Signed contracting and accept schedule by the town
And then
council.
submitting the agreement to NDOT on the 22nd. And final plan submitted to us a day before the next council meeting. So there's already 2 actions that would take place.
I know, but I don't feel comfortable approving anything until I go back
I
and
agree with
look.
you. If we have to, we can try and do an executive session. That's the only thing I can think of.
Can we do it that way, Alex?
We could do a special session, and, do it that way.
Okay,
Public notice,
all right, that's fine.
have a special session.
Okay.
And we don't have publicized after this, do we? Or do
Yeah.
we?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to post it.
We got posted?
Yeah,
Okay.
your special session.
All right, well, we'll do it that way, Damon.
Yeah, that's fine. Next thing I got, the interviews are completed for the full-time apprenticeship program for the full-time position we had two candidates I felt was eligible, and they both done very well. Very good interviews with both of them. I was impressed with both of them. So I apologize, I forgot to make copies of these two, but I did put at the top left-hand page how I felt each one of them done. So basically, we just need to decide where we want to go from here. Do you guys want to interview them yourself? Do you just want to choose one? But this is where I'm at with it. And the scale was a 1 to 10. I apologize. I guess I should have told you what the numbers meant.
What this is, it's an apprenticeship program for the water and sewer.
Yes, it'd be for the water and sewer certification. Well, I mean, we kind of attempt to try to train, cross-train all departments, but we found out that that's really tough to do. Not that this individual won't be used for, other areas of town, but their main objective here would be to get their water and sewer certification.
It's
'Cause
through
it's
the Alliance,
Yeah, it's through
So-
Alliance and Work One.
so they help fund it, which helps us out because we're gonna be absorbing another person on the payroll halfway through the year. And also paying for their tuition, their books, their laptop, all that stuff, they need it. So this is supposed to help with that funding. There's multiple grants that they apply for and try to get to help pay for it.
What do you think?
Well, I know that eventually we'll need both of them for,
I know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So,
we got,
yeah.
one told me the other day, he said in a year and a half, he has done no matter what. And the other one, which, who knows? It might be tomorrow, it might be 5 years from now. We just don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what we're looking ahead of us.
Right.
One, we got two employees. One of them is going to retire and told us that, so we need to get a training for that. The other employee can retire right now if they wanted to. And so we have to prepare for that as well. And the thing is too, it's getting harder and harder to find with small towns, rural towns especially, people certified for water treatment, and waste treatment. They're getting harder to find, let's put it that
And
way.
they're very, if we went right now and looked for a water person, what do you call them? Superintendent of water.
Certified operator.
Certified. You're going to be paying 90, 80, 90,000 a year for it.
Really? How bad do you want me to get mine? No, I'm just kidding. No, it is,
But
it is,
there are so many that needs it right
Yeah,
now.
it's a
So
very,
many communities.
and I'm glad we have a couple young guys that's interested in it because it is hard to find people and, and the ones that are out there, like you said, they've done it several years and they're at the top of the line of the pay scale and we just,
There's
Westport
just
can't do
certain
that.
people that would fit the bill for a small town,
Right.
isn't
So is this generally what we do, or is this what we have?
The council would appoint who they want to fulfill that apprentice program because you guys are the hiring agency for
That's right.
the
What
town
would be,
employees.
what
I
would be your
feel like I-
recommendation
yeah.
based on your interviews? Unless you
I
guys
think-
want to go through.
No, I think that based on his interviews,
Based on
I'm happy.
his recommendation.
So what would be your?
The way I rated them was the top left-hand corner.
If you,
If you look here,
Oh,
and then there's one on that one, and there's
Okay.
one on this one.
yeah, I got it. Shane Abel Nichols
Shane Nichols, hey.
is rated He's rated at the top, my Damon.
But I think that this other boy, I mean, we have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Because I
50,
think both of them
the way I
will be
look at it,
super
it's a
good.
50-50 chance no matter who you hire. I mean,
That's right.
And technically, the
Um,
other one is already employed for
Right.
our part-time position. And say people do end up retiring, maybe
Right.
they both go through it. I don't know.
And one of the one that you picked already is signed up for school. He's already ready to go.
correct.
And I don't know that the other one is yet. I mean, he can go do it, but it
Right.
takes a lot to do that too.
One
Make
other
the
motion.
motion.
Is there a motion? No,
That
I'm
we'll
sorry.
use
We're not getting
Damon's-
anything done. We're just standing here looking at
No,
each
we'll
other,
let-
sitting here
we'll
looking at
use
each other.
Damon's,
I'll make a
he's the
motion that
one
we
glad to work with it.
accept
Right.
Shane Nichols, Abel, as our.
No, Shane. Oh, yes, you're right.
That's
You
what
had me
it
doing it
says.
now.
I could be dyslexic.
I don't know his middle name anyway.
Yeah,
so-
anyway, that we accept him as a trainee.
I second
I guess the next thing with, or sorry.
All in
I thought you were
favor?
done.
Aye.
Aye.
So the next thing we'll need to decide is when his start date will be,
When
upon his acceptance of the
Um,
position.
So what has to happen here, though, is that we have to coordinate a meeting with Kelly Gardner from the Alliance, and she will come down with his hire paperwork, and you, along with her, will propose that he takes the position. You can't offer him the position prior to that,
Okay.
because it somehow it messes up with the grant money. But he's already done the Workforce One paperwork, so he's set to go. His start date would officially probably be July 1st. And my thought is if we get this special session coordinated and Kelly can come to that, maybe we can do two
Earlier,
things
yeah.
at one meeting, get that done.
Alrighty, well, that's the end of our.
I got one more thing.
Oh, you
A couple months
kinda
ago,
sound like me. That's what I do. Always one more thing.
a couple months ago, we had a special session and we decided there'd be a time and date set to meet with the insurance company to figure out what's going on with that. And I was just curious if that time and date has been set yet.
No, I've dropped the ball on it. We can add that maybe into the next special session.
Yeah, we can add all
And
that.
Alright.
on
I'll
special.
call tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's it, Harry.
Sure. Somebody always needs
That's
to ask
what
me,
we
am I
get for
sure?
hiring a superintendent.
Oh, no. But anyway,
I'm
that's
glad we
the
did.
end of our official agenda. We have about 10 minutes. We'll go around the room. Bonnie, do you have anything? Barb? I'll talk to you in a minute. The guy sitting in the back. You sure? It's your chance to say something.
Kevin, say hi. So, anything.
Sitting behind Damon. Everything
That is
said?
Shane's mother.
Oh, Shane's mother. Okay, well,
Yes.
glad to meet you.
She just wanted to see how we were. She might not
Is there
want her
anything you
boy
want to
come
say?
here.
Glenn? Guy next to you?
Jenny?
Danny, I know you're here. Did you have anything to say on the matter? All right, well, come up and speak your piece, and you got those pictures?
I did have Damon down this morning to look at it. And as you left, when I came back from the VA today, I took them pipes apart. As you can see, you want to see it? Took all that pipe, all this water ran in there, but it will not run through that pipe.
Isn't that would tell me you have a problem with your teeth?
I done ran that through that. I ran it past that tube. And it will not go down.
When I cambered this last week, this pipe from here to me was completely clear.
I ran all that water. And ran a cable back that way. This was-
Is he
How far
driving?
did it end up going?
I don't
How
know,
far
but
did it
is he a
I ran it about 5 feet.
a plumber or what is he?
As you can see, the water will not go down into the main line.
We can come back and do something from here to there, but from this point to the house.
But I mean, I will take care of that.
Right.
That's no problem. But I think we need to put that drain back down here. I think it's where they hooked onto the new line, when they put line down through here. I think dirt got in there.
There was no dirt in there last week when I cambered it. That's
How
what I'm
far
saying.
did you go?
I cambered all the way to the main.
Well, something's gotta be in there now. But it will not be there. I worked and worked.
So what is your proposed?
Oh, we need this on the public record.
I think just taking this whole
Is he
thing
talking to
down,
you or us?
taking that T out,
Dan, you need to come up to the microphone, please.
Take that T out, come over, where my line will go straight, have no curves in it. Put a new upriser for a clean out, and I hook in right before the clean out. And I'll do all the digging. I'll even dig over where the new clean out should go.
I'm okay with it. I mean, there's nothing that says he can't do his own work, so
As long as you're okay with it,
I just
Yeah.
like.
I don't have an issue.
I mean, I've really got out there and it's killed me with my COPD and stuff out there in that heat doing that
Yep, just coordinate it with him.
and everything.
No problem.
But, just wanted to show them today that I went all that trouble and my line's been clear all this time. It's just been right in that area where they hooked it back together. So,
All right, Dan.
Just get with him.
all right.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All righty, thanks, Danny. Okay, with that in mind,
See
if
if Luke
there's,
wants to say anything.
you got everything done? Again, everything, what's at this side? I will officially close the May 8th, 2023, 6:30 PM meeting of the Westport Town Council. Joyce, first, that's assigned to you.
He's not packing over there, it looks like.
Oh, wonderful.
I dropped the ball on that. That was me. I just want to know